النساء. فقال الله عز وجل: هم أهل البيت النبوة وبعل الرسالة، هم فاطمة وأبوها وبعلها وبنوها.
اللهم صل على
فقال جبرائيل: يا رب يتعذرني أن أحبط إلى الأرض يكون معهم سادسا. فقال الله: نعم قد أذنت لك. فهبط الأمير جبرائيل وقال: السلام عليك يا رسول الله، على لي ولا يقرأ السلام ويخصك بالتحية والإكرام ويقول لك: وعزتي وجلالي إني ما خلقت السماء أمنية ولا عدم الحية ولا قمر منيرا ولا شمس مضية ولا فلك يدور ولا بحر يجري ولا فلك يسري إلا لأجلكم ومحبتكم، وقد أذنني أن أدخل معكم، هل تأذنني يا رسول الله؟ فقال رسول الله عليه السلام: يا أمين وحي الله، إنه نعم قد أذنت لك. فدخل جبرائيل معنا تحت الكساء. فقال النبي: إن الله قد أوحى إليكم يقول: إنما يريد الله ليذهب عنكم الرجس أهل البيت ويطهركم تطهيرا. فقال علي: يا رسول الله، أخبرني ماذا جلوسنا هذا تحت الكساء من الفضل إن الله. فقال النبي صلى الله عليه وآله: والذي بعثني بالحق نبيا واستفاني بالرسالة النجية ما ذكر خبرنا هذا في محافل أهل الأرض، وفيه جمع من شيعتنا محبين إلا ونزلت عليهم الرحمة وحفت بهم الملائكة واستغفرت لهم إلى أن يتفرقوا. فقال علي: إذن والله فزنا وقال شيعتنا ورب الكعبة. فقال لي رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله: ثانيا يا علي، والذي بعثني بالحق نبيا واستفاني بالرسالة النجية ما ذكر خبرنا هذا في محافل أهل الأرض، وفيه جمع من شيعتنا محبين، وفيه محموم إلا وفرج الله عما، ولا مغموم إلا وكشف الله عما، ولا طالب حاجة إلا وقضى الله حاجة. فقال علي: إذن والله فزنا وسعدنا، وكذلك شيعتنا فازوا وسعدوا في الدنيا والآخرة ورب الكعبة.
اللهم صل على محمد وعلى
جا کے ڈھونڈوں کہاں اس کو بن میں، شب ہے تاریک سناٹا رن میں، بھوک اٹھتی ہے میرے بدن میں، بھیا بالی سکینہ کہاں ہے؟ اٹھ کے دریا سے پاس آؤ، ساتھ اکبر کو تم لے کر جاؤ، ڈھونڈ کر تم سکینہ کو لاؤ، بھیا بالی سکینہ کہاں ہے؟ شاید اصغر کو وہ ڈھونڈتی ہو، کوزہ پانی کا لے کر گئی ہو، پاس بھائی کے نہ سو گئی ہو، بھیا بالی سکینہ کہاں ہے؟ ہو چکی رن میں شام غریباں، فوج آدھا میں اب ہے چراغاں، بوجھ کے ہو رہے ہیں یہ سامان، بھیا بالی سکینہ کہاں ہے؟ بھیا دیکھو تو قسمت ہماری جائے گی کس طرح یہ سواری، ہوگی محمل ناب وہ ہماری، بھیا بالی سکینہ کہاں ہے؟ لاش بے سر سے آواز آئی، غم نہ کھاؤ اے اماں کی جائی، آؤ بہنا بلاتا ہے بھائی، میری بالی سکینہ یہاں ہے۔ روتے روتے جو نیند آ گئی ہے، غم کے طوفان میں وہ کھو گئی ہے، میرے سینے پہ وہ سو گئی ہے، میری بالی سکینہ یہاں ہے۔ رو رو مقتل میں کہتی تھی زینب، بھیا بالی سکینہ کہاں ہے؟
محمد والے محمد صلوات اس طرح वाक़े में करबला के रंग दोनों ने भरा इब्तिदा शबीर ने की इंतहा ज़ैनब ने की इस तरह तय मंजिले सलावत
सल्ले अलैहि
शबीह इमाम ज़मान खींचते हैं शबीह इमाम और तसव्वुर में तस्वीर जान खींचते हैं तसव्वुर में तस्वीर जान खींचते जगह मोल ले है मज़ारों की खाक سارے دیگر صلوات سورہ فاتحہ آتا ہے سر امام کا بزم یزید میں، آتا ہے سر امام کا بزم یزید میں، محشر بپا ہے آل رسول مجید میں، سامان رقص و عیش ہے قصر پلید میں، سینہ زنی ہے عطرت شاہ شہید میں، سینہ زنی ہے عطرت شاہ شہید میں، دربار عام میں تو سب کا ہجوم ہے، سیدانیوں میں آئے حسینہ کی دھوم ہے، سیدانیوں میں آئے حسینہ کی دھوم ہے، راوی بیان کرتا ہے اب یوں بچشم نام داخل ہوا جو شام میں، سب لشکر ستام پہنچی یزید کو خبر آمد حرام، بولا حسین پر ہوئے منصور آج ہم، بولا حسین پر ہوئے منصور آج ہم، سر تشت میں دکھاؤں گا ابن بطول کا، دربار میں ہو داخلہ آل رسول کا، دربار میں ہو داخلہ آل رسول کا، یہ سن کے ریس مالیے اٹھے کئی شقی، آئے حرم کے قافلے میں جب وہ مدعی زینب کا بازو گردنے سجاد بن گئی، دربار کو چلے حرم دل برے نبی، دربار کو چلے حرم دل برے ابھی، پھر کیا تھا مومنو جو یہ تازہ غضب نہ تھا، رک رک کے دم سکینہ کا نکلے عجب نہ تھا، رک رک کے دم سکینہ کا نکلے عجب نہ تھا، پیش یزید آیا حرم کا جو کارواں، اغلب تھا جان دختر حیدر کی ہو رواں، دیکھا یزید نے جو سکینہ کو ناگہاں، پوچھا یہ کون ہے تو کیا شمر نے بیان، پوچھا یہ کون ہے تو کیا شمر نے بیان، بیٹی ہے یہ جناب شہ مشرقین کے، بالی سکینہ ہے یہ دختر حسین کی، ایک جان سو طرح کی بلا دے انا میں ہے وارث ایک بائیسو قید جفا میں ہے وارث ایک بائیسو قید جفا میں ہے ارے بولا جدید دل میں تیرے آرزو ہے کیا بولی سکینہ سر مجھے دکھلا دے باپ کا القصہ کھل گیا رسنے ظلم سے گلا تشت تلا دکھا کے یہ حاکم نے دی صدا تشت تلا دکھا کے یہ حاکم نے دی صدا آلودہ خاک سے ہے تو خون سے بھرا ہوا لے اس میں تیرے باپ کا سر ہے دھرا ہوا لے اس میں تیرے باپ کا سر ہے دھرا ہوا پر شرط ہے اٹھا کے نہ سر کیجیو تو بین آپ ہی سے آئے گود میں تیرے سر حسین سر پوش کو اٹھا کے پکاری وہ نور عین اے فاطمہ کے راہتے جاں مصطفیٰ کے چین اے فاطمہ کے راہتے جاں مصطفیٰ کے چین چھونے کو سر کو حکم نہیں غم کی ماری ہوں آ جاؤ میری گود میں گر تم کو پیاری ہوں آ جاؤ میری گود میں گر تم کو پیاری ہوں آتا ہے سر امام کا بزم یزید میں
Assalamu alaikum. As usual, it's Saturday night and the Sunday school project continues. Supposedly there should have been 2 students, but I see only 1, so inshallah we'll go with him. This 11-year-old has prepared something about Hazrat Abbas alayhi salam, and without anybody's help. Please. Wasim Razvi.
Assalamu alaikum. Today I will tell you a little about Hazrat Abbas of Islam. After his birth, Hazrat Abbas never opened his eyes until he was in the arms of his brother Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Hazrat Abbas was raised by his father for the first 14 years of his life, after which he spent time with his brother Imam Hassan alayhi salam. He then spent the last quarter of his life being raised by Imam Hussein alayhi salam. Hazrat Abbas was surrounded by perfection his whole life. Throughout his life, Hazrat Abbas never referred to Imam as brother, but rather his master. In Karbala, Hazrat Abbas was the flag bearer of Islam. He would carry an album with him that symbolized justice and the truth. Therefore, he was given the name Al-Mudaz. In the hot desert of Karbala, after having no food or water, Hazrat Abbas would hear the crying voices of the children who were thirsty for water. After his 4-year-old niece Fatima asked him to get water for the kids, Hazrat Abbas went and asked the Imam for permission to go get water for the kids. Upon hesitation, the Imam granted him permission. So Hazrat Abbas went with the alam in one hand and Bibi Sakina's water bag in the other hand went to get some water. Hazrat Abbas rode off into the battlefield. Bibi Sakina gathered all of the kids and with cups in their hands waiting for Uncle to bring some water. After fighting his way to the river, Hazrat Abbas filled the water bag with water, knowing that his master and his niece were thirsty. On his way back to the camp, Yazid's army surrounded Hazrat Abbas, showering the skies with arrows. After having his right arm cut off, Hazrat Abbas put the bag and the arm in his left arm. Yazid's army would not give up. They then cut off Hazrat Abbas' left arm. The arm then fell to the ground, but Hazrat Abbas would not let go of the water bag. He kept fighting, putting the water bag in his mouth, but realizing that the water bag was a weak point. One of the troops fired an arrow and hit the water bag, and all the water flowed out. After falling from the horse, Hazrat Abbas yelled out for his brother. The Imam came running, holding Hazrat Abbas in his lap. Before dying, the Imam had one request. All his life, Hazrat Abbas would never call him brother. That day, the Imam's simple request was that Hazrat Abbas would once call him brother. After fulfilling his brother's request, Hazrat Abbas left this world the same way he entered it. His arms of Imam Hussein standing to his eyes. Wassalam.
مولانا مختار فیضی صاحب کی کل اس عزاخانے میں آخری مجلس ہے. کل کی مجلس بعد نماز مغربین سے پہلے ٹھیک 6:30 بجے شروع ہوگی. آپ تمام مومنین سے اس میں وقت کی پابندی کے ساتھ زیادہ سے زیادہ تعداد میں شرکت کی استدعا ہے. کل کی مجلس کے لیے ہمیں ایک تبرک کے اسپانسر کی ضرورت ہے. جو صاحب بھی تبرک دینا چاہیں اپنا نام لسٹ میں لکھ کے معصوم کی انتظامیہ کو نوٹیفائی کرا دیں. اس کے بعد چہلم کے مجالس سے خطاب جناب قبلہ مولانا یوشا فیضی صاحب کے فرزند جناب علایہ حسینی صاحب کریں گے، جو مسقط سے انشاءاللہ یہاں پہ تشریف لا رہے ہیں مجالس سے خطاب کرنے کے لیے. یہ مجالس سے نیکسٹ ویکینڈ پہ ہوں گی. ان مجلسوں میں نیو جرسی سے کچھ مہمان، نوحہ خان اور سلام پڑھنے والوں آ رہے ہیں، جن میں ارسلان عابدی صاحب، علی محسن جعفری صاحب جو کہ انگلش میں لیکچر دیں گے، شان علی صاحب، اور اس کے علاوہ جناب ضیاء صاحب اور سچے بھائی ایکسپیکٹڈ ہیں جلوس چہلم کے پروگرام میں. آپ تمام مومنین سے درخواست کروں گا کہ ان پروگرام میں زیادہ سے زیادہ تعداد میں شرکت کریں. چہلم کا جلوس انشاءاللہ 14 جون کو صبح 10 بجے ڈیلی سینٹر سے برآمد ہوگا. یہ سنڈے کا دن ہے. آپ تمام مومنین سے درخواست کروں گا کہ چہلم کے جلوس میں زیادہ سے زیادہ تعداد میں شرکت کریں. جن مومنین کو یہ اطلاع نہیں ہے آپ سے درخواست کروں گا کہ یہ اعلان تمام مومنین تک پہنچا دیں تاکہ چہلم کے جلوس میں زیادہ سے زیادہ تعداد میں لوگ شرکت کر سکیں. مولانا فائزی صاحب کا جو کربلا کے عنوان پہ انگلش میں سیمینار ہو رہا ہے وہ اب حسینی امام بارگاہ میں ہوتا ہے. کل صبح 10 بجے سے 12 بجے تک کے یہ سیمینار حسینی امام بارگاہ میں ہوگا. آپ تمام مومنین سے درخواست کروں گا کہ اس میں شرکت کریں. 13 جون کو امام خمینی کی برسی کے سلسلے میں ایک پروگرام حسینی امام بارگاہ میں ہوگا. اس کے ٹائمنگز ہیں 5 PM. یہ شام کو 5 بجے شروع ہوگا، جس میں مختلف اسپیکرز، جس میں جناب برادر مہدی حسن رضوی صاحب، سسٹر Ameer Mukhtar Faezi sahab, brother Ali Mir Kiani اور دوسرے اسپیکر شرکت کریں گے. یاد رکھیں 13 جون کو شام، یہ سیٹرڈے کا دن ہے، شام کو 5 بجے حسین امام بارگاہ میں یہ پروگرام ہوگا. آپ تمام مومنین سے اس میں شرکت کی استدعا ہے. اس کے علاوہ جن مومنین کو معصوم کے نیوز لیٹر نہیں مل رہے ہیں ان سے درخواست کروں گا کہ اپنے اپنے نام اور ایڈریسز جو ہمارے پاس فارم موجود ہے اس پہ فل اپ کر کے دے دیں. اور جن مومنین نے ابھی تک معصوم کی ممبرشپ فی نہیں دی ہے ان سے درخواست کروں گا کہ اپنی اپنی ممبرشپ فی معصوم انتظامیہ تک پہنچا دیں. آپ تمام مومنین سے درخواست کروں گا کہ اپنے عطیات، اپنے ڈونیشنز معصوم انتظامیہ تک پہنچا دیں جس کی ہمیں ضرورت ہے. محرم و سفر میں اخراجات ہو رہے ہیں. آپ کے ہی ڈونیشن سے یہ ادارہ چلتا ہے. آپ کے تعاون کے بغیر ہم لوگ کچھ بھی نہیں کر سکتے. آپ سے درخواست کروں گا کہ اپنے اپنے عطیات ہمارے ٹریجر جناب طاہر مرزا صاحب یہاں پہ موجود ہیں یا معصوم انتظامیہ کے کسی بھی ممبر کو اپنے عطیات پہنچا دیں. صلوات بر محمد و آل محمد. آپ سے درخواست کروں گا کہ پلیز تھوڑا تھوڑا آگے آ جائیں تاکہ مولانا صاحب کو خطاب کرنے میں آسانی ہو اور آپ ان کے سامنے ہوں. صلوات بر محمد و آل محمد.
which is chapter 16, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said that whoever believes and does good deed, whoever, man amana wa amila salih, whoever believes and does good, min zakarin aw unsa, male or female, masculine or feminine, muzakkar or muannas, wa huwa mu'minun. The condition is that person must be believer. وَلَنُحْيِيَنَّهُ حَيَاةً طَيِّبَةً. We must provide him a pure life, which of course is meant the life of paradise. Hayatan tayyibah. And we must reward them, their rewards better than what they were performing. Our rewards will be better than what they were doing for us. That is the ayat which I have recited yesterday, and this will remain as the topic of our discussion. As I said yesterday, that this tragedy of Karbala, what we are commemorating in these majalis, was an experience where men and women played their roles hand in hand. One of the beauties of Karbala is that this was a teamwork. This experience of Karbala was a teamwork where a big number of men and women, leaders and laymen, youth and children, all together worked to set this example for mankind forever. Sometimes we feel that we Muslims as a community are missing this coordination or the spirit of team. We have become very individualistic and very selfish or self-centered. I don't know how we ended up with that behavior while we had a beautiful example like the example of Quran, where we see all these people working as a team with the spirit of team. From the beginning, Imam alayhi salatu wasalam involves everybody around him, from his family, from his friends, from his followers. Then we see the consultations, we see the exchange of advice and opinions, and then we see that this whole experience was under a leadership, which was of course the leadership of Imam Hussain ibn Ali alayhi salatu wassalam. But we see that everybody is working within the given guidance by the leadership. And we see strict discipline also. Even in the emergency, It is easy to maintain the discipline when the circumstances are normal. But if you want to really assess someone's ability and someone's personality, then you should look that person in abnormal situation, in a state of emergency, and then see that how this person or this group of people they perform. Ameer al-Mu'mineen has also said beautifully, which is mentioned in Najul Balagha, that the reality of people is always noticeable in the emergencies and in the worst circumstances. This Jawharul Rijal tu'rafu fi taqallub al-ahwal. Fi taqallub al-ahwal, when the circumstances are abnormal, when the situation is just like emergency, and then if someone can manage a temper, if someone can marry, and someone can manage this order and all the routine works and the merits and the standards, then it means that this person has really a great personality and great values. So brothers and sisters, we who sit every year and participate in these mornings of Karbala, we must learn these values from this experience of Karbala. If we shed these tears and show this sympathy toward Imam and his mission, we must develop these values of working together and teamwork and the spirit of team and the coordination and working under the leadership. One of the worst problems which Shia community has unfortunately developed is that they have a very difficult time to work with any leader. They're so picky about leadership. Some scholars have made some analysis on the Shia and Sunni community, and they concluded that with all the weaknesses what Ahlul Sunnah have, but they have one good thing, that they will always work as jama'at, as a group, because they are Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'at. So the focus is always on the group, and they will follow the leadership even if it is not perfect. That is why they actually ended up into some problems also. But the focus remain on the Jama'at and on the leadership. Anybody who comes in the office, anybody who got the control, who came in the authority, because he is Ameer, so they will follow him. We don't want to go to that extreme, but the problem with the Shia community, because from the beginning we denied and we rejected that leadership of the community after Prophet, and we started criticizing it, then after that we just got a habit of criticizing the leadership. That is one distinctive characteristic of the Shia community, that it is extremely a critical community. It is impossible to imagine a Shia who is not involved in a severe criticism. This is the second nature of a Shia, unfortunately. That we have criticized that much those bad people or good people or whatever, that we have developed that as our second nature. And just like thieves, that when they cannot steal from the others, then they start stealing from themselves, from each other. You know this business of thieves? Back home, these chore people, the thieves, whenever there is opportunity, they go and steal things from others. And when there is a very strict thanedar, very strict kind of this police inspector, and the government and the police and the people, they make certain disciplinary decisions where these people now can't go out and steal things from the other people, then they will start stealing from each other. जैसे हम उर्दू में कहते हैं चोरों को मोर पड़ गए. So this is what is happening with the Shia community. That first of all, if we find some environment where we can criticize those guys, of course that is the favorite hobby, and we don't want to miss the opportunity that if we find some, but if anyhow there is not majlis and this is not the season of majlis and we can't criticize them, then we will start criticizing each other. Because we have to criticize someone. That is the second nature of the tashayyu, unfortunately. We don't realize that. As from a psychologist, as from someone who is involved with psychiatry, he will let you know. So my brothers and sisters, we have become that much picky and perfectionist that no leader impresses us, no management impresses us, no center, no president, no committee, no nothing can fulfill our criteria and our demands. And as we say in Urdu, that bakri jaan se gayi aur khane wale ko maza na aaya. हाँ? बकरी जान से गई और खाने वाले को मजा ना आया. Poor guys were all volunteers. Nobody is paid in these religious leaderships or these managements. Everybody does this job voluntarily. From 9 to 5 you work in the offices and do all that, and here you come home and immediately you start doing this, whatever the community business is, come and clean and cook and fix and do everything, and still when we come and evaluate, everything is upside down, everything is wrong, and nothing is right. This is because of that nature. Or any alim, any leader, any speaker, I know when people go back, everybody has to evaluate the speaker and his speech, and they have their own way of making these comments. But my brothers and sisters, I am trying to make a very important point, that if we really want to move forward as a community, if we don't want to keep going in circles, and if we have to come out from this mess and from this situation, we have to develop the positive mentality. We have to look to the things in a positive manner and always look on the positive qualities of the people instead of always looking to their negative things. Always look to the strengths of people, because we will never find the perfect people. The perfect man is only one at the time. Only one man who is perfect, and there is no second one that who can be perfect. And in order to have that perfect man, we have to go a long way. We have to go a long way to prepare ourselves where we can deserve that perfect man to come and be our leader in presence. when we receive some calls, sometime from some brothers and sometime from some sisters, and they are complaining about each other as husband or as wife, and they consult us for divorce or for counseling, we tell them that you will never find a perfect partner. You think that your husband is not a good husband or your wife is not a good wife. But you know, even if you get divorced and you go to the second marriage, you will have more problems than what you are facing now. Statistics are there that the second marriages are normally even worse than the first marriages, and then the third one is even worse than the second one. People have gone through that, and the problem is those who cannot manage with the first one, they cannot manage with the second one. They cannot manage with the third and fourth. This has to come from within yourself to make it success. But if you are not ready to make it success, then the external and other things are not going to make it success. So we tell them that the perfect man is only one. To these sisters, and we tell them, and that we don't know when he will appear and when the situation can come that he can think of marrying these sisters or these people in the community, but until then, there is no perfect man. And basically, perfectionism is a psychological and behavioral problem. You know that. The perfectionism is actually a mental sickness. Imam Ali alayhi salatu wassalam has advised, when you are looking for a friend, don't search for a perfect friend, because you will remain without friend. That's the advice of Ameerul Mu'mineen. It is mentioned in Makarimul Akhlaq and in our other. Don't look for a perfect friend, because you will remain without friend. You have to search for excellence, not for the perfectionism. The excellence, yes, we should all strive for excellence. We should all make effort to improve, and there is always a room of improvement. There is always a room of improvement. Never you can say that there is no room of improvement anymore, but not the perfectionism. So, what I was trying to say, that having the example like the example of Karbala, this team spirit, this coordination, this working together, this sense of sacrifice, all of that what we see. You see how much toleration is in Karbala, and how much easy your Imam and his companions, they forget about the past of people. Very important point what I'm making. Normally what we say, what we do, if somebody comes and joins us, we are always going to beat his past. But this man, now he wants to come and join us and he is ready to do this, but remember what he has done before? We are always going to remind his past. And the example of Hur in Karbala, what is the message of that? What is the message? What we get from the example of Hur in Karbala? Hur was the man that who had put Imam alayhi salatu wasalam in that whole problem. He was the one that who had stopped and blocked the way of Imam and brought him in the Karbala and then surrounded him. And up till the 10th of Muharram, he was the one that who was assisting the people of Ibn Ziyad and Umar Isad. But here he changes himself, changes his mind, comes in the camp of Imam. He does not have to beg for half an hour or for 1 hour. He just makes one apology and your Imam says, Allah is Tawwab. If you have made the Tawbah, He accepts the Tawbah. You are our accepted guests. Salawat. Imam has not reminded him his past. Or, now you came here after putting us in this trouble. I am not going to accept your apology. But Imam alayhi salatu wasalam accepts. Zuhair ibn Qayn was also Uthmani. In the other terminology, you can translate Uthmani to the conventional meaning of the Sunni. He converted basically in this trip from Makkah to Kufa. And he joined Imam alayhi salatu wasalam. And Imam alayhi salatu wasalam is not reminding him when he was fighting against Imam Ali alayhi salatu wasalam. When he was supporting the camp of Usman and Banu Umayyah against the camp of Ahlul Bayt. That is a message for us. That we are only concerned about the present condition, my brothers and sisters, not about the past of people. We have to be people that were easygoing. Because we believe in God, that who is easygoing God. You recite in Surah, you recite in Dua Kumail, Ya Sari ar-Rida. Ya Sari ar-Rida. Oh, the one that who easily and fawri, like immediately, becomes razi and becomes pleased. Sari ar-Rida. Sur'at, jaldi razi ho jane wala Rabb. जल्दी राजी हो जाने वाला रब. और मोमिन की अलामत में से एक अलामत ये है कि जब भी वो इस बात को रियलाइज कर ले, whenever he realizes the fact that he was wrong, then he should come with apology. At the same time, this is the sign of a believer that he always accepts the apologies of people. This is a sign of believers, sign of a mu'min, that he always accepts the apologies of people. Prophet says, those people who don't accept the apologies of people, they are the worst of mankind. They are the worst of the mankind. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Tawwab. When He is Ghaffar, when He is Ghafurun Rahim, when He is Sari ar-Rida, then who are you to say that I don't accept the apologies? In Nahjul Balagha, Ameer al-Mu'mineen has advised to Malik Ashkar, Malik, accept people's apologies and forgive them, that their God may forgive when you ask your apologies from their God. Why you have double standards? You ask from your God that He should pardon you, but you are not pardoning the people. These are the double standards. If you want to be pardoned, then you must pardon others. But if you don't pardon the people, the makhluk of Allah, you don't have right to ask Allah that pardon me and forgive me. The example which always I give is that how much it is important to forget about the past. I don't know how many of you here have memorized this Salatul Mayyit, the Namaz-e-Janaza. I don't want to take test, but normally the scores are very low, although this prayer is one of the wajib prayers. And how pity the situation is that somebody's father or his son or his brother dies, and this son or this father or this brother cannot even offer this Salatul Mayyit properly, which is at least something what he can do for his father or for his son or brother. But normally people don't know this Salatul Mayyit. In Salatul Mayyit, if you remember, after saying Shahadatain and Salat and Darood and everything, when it comes to this what we call Hazir Mayyit, for this present Mayyit, what we say, Allahumma inna la na'lamu minhu illa khaira wa anta a'lamu bihi minna. O our Lord, Allahumma inna la na'lamu minhu illa khaira. We don't know anything about this Mayyit except good. That is what you recite in Salatul Mayyit. If you recite, if you make Salatul Mayyit, you must say that Allahumma inna la na'lamu minhu illa khaira. O our Lord, we don't know anything except about this individual except good. This is an individual, we know so many bad things about him. Is it not lying to God, cheating to God, doing fraud to God? That we know this brother, his terrible character, what he was doing with his father, what he was doing with his mother, what he was doing with his family, how he was treating the other people, what kind of business, what kind of job, what kind of character he had. We know everything. And knowing all that, we are saying, oh our Lord, we don't know anything about him except good. What is the message? And then we say, Allahumma inna la na'lamu minhu illa khaira wa anta a'lamu bihi minna. And you have the more knowledge about him than us. Allahumma in kana muhsinan fazid fi ihsanihi wa in kana musi'an wa mudhniban fatajawaz an sayyi'atihi. O our Lord, if he was doer of good, then add in his good deeds with your own blessings. Increase them. And if he was doer of bad, then pardon and forgive his bad deeds. But my brothers and sisters, the point is, when we know all that, how are we saying that? The message is, all the bad things we knew about that individual, those were the matter of past. At one time, we had noticed that he was involved in some wrongful behavior. We don't know that at any stage in his life, at any moment in his life, even that could be 2 minutes before his death, that he made tawbah and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has forgiven all of his sins. When Allah has forgiven all of our sins, why we have to keep remembering his sins? And sometimes, just because of any good deed what he had committed. And sometimes it can be a good deed of his son. It can be a good deed of his daughter. It can be a good deed of one of the people whom he was helping, have done something good, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as a credit, forgave him. So when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has forgiven him, who are we to still have that charge sheet and everything on the record? So the message is, you don't have to be the God of people. They have their own God. And God has his own angels to keep the accounts. He is not asking you to take account of other people. Salawat. That was just like, got little bit long, but the message was that while we have Karbala, such beautiful examples, such beautiful gatherings every year for about 2 months in sequence, and then all we have in the year so many programs, why are we not learning these lessons from this? My brothers and sisters, in this Karbala, as we said, this was an example set by all genders and all ages. We see men and women, we see elderly and young and very small age of children. We see people of all walks of life. We see people of all backgrounds, poor and rich, knowledgeable and laymen. And we see even some converts who just entered in Islam when Imam alayhi salatu wasalam was coming from Makkah toward Kufa, and they entered in Islam because they had encountered Imam alayhi salatu wasalam. The new converts who were previously Christians, and some of them were converts and they had just entered in Islam. Abdullah ibn Umair Kalbi was one of them, which we were just discussing today in our seminar. This Abdullah ibn Umair had just entered in Islam. And then he comes in Karbala, and he was the first one that who went to fight. The first one, even before Hur. So my brothers and sisters, when we are remembering all these examples of men, I thought it would be important that we should discuss the role of women also. And we will be discussing later even the role of youth and the role of children in Karbala. Because our deen, our madhab, our religion tells us that when it comes to the religion and defending the faith of God, you have to come as a whole family and as a whole community. Only coming of parents is not enough. Although in these majalis sometimes we see that the parents will come in the majalis and children will remain at home because of whatever reason. But the spirit is that what we learn from the experience of Mubahala. The example set for us was the Mubahala. If only Prophet would go and face these Christians and make the bad dua, if he would curse, Allah would not honor his curse. He was the most senior in this group. And if Prophet and Imam Ali alayhi salatu wasalam would go, but Prophet set example for us. We are going to defend the faith. We are going to defend our religion. We will go as a family. Prophet is going. Your Imam is going. Sayyidatun Nisa'il Alameen is going. And 2 young children, Hasanain alayhim as-salatu was-salam are going. This Mubahala was a rehearsal for Karbala. This Mubahala was a rehearsal for Karbala. Now we are this small family and we have to defend the faith. We are going all together. Hussein, a time will come when you have to take your whole family also with you. You have to take the whole family with you. So the message is that the whole family, men have their role, women have their role, youth have their role, and children have their role. And all of them, they have played their role. So we started in yesterday's majlis focusing on the status of women in Islam, Islamic perspective of women, and then women's role in the spread of Islam, in the establishment of Islam in general, and women's role in Karbala in particular. I purposely selected that because this issue of women is one of the very misunderstood issues. This is one of those issues where people have gone to the extremes. Either they have gone to make this woman just like a luggage, just like stuff like grocery, just like they have made her like any animal commodity, what somebody can buy and sell, or the other extreme where they went to the extreme where this extreme of feminist, totally the other extreme. And then because of some misconceptions of the culture of Middle East and the culture of the other Asian communities, the people have started evaluating the Islamic perspective of women based on what how Arabs treat their women, or how India treats their women, or how the other communities are treating their women. They think that is the Islamic perspective of women in Islam. I have been visiting certain universities and the Christian theological seminaries. I have just recently visited this Hartford Theological Seminary in Connecticut, and we had gone through a long discussion about women in Islam. So I thought that it would be very important that if we can provide some balanced thought and some balanced approach on the issue of women in Islam. So we had discussed certain things yesterday, and a little misunderstanding, or which came from a kind of ambiguity, because I was explaining so many things in keeping the limits of time in mind. So I think that has caused some concerns and some questions, which I would like to focus on that today and then just move forward, because we have to talk about so many things. Salawat. In our yesterday's speech, we clarified the point that woman is not created from the rib of Adam. That is a wrong theory. We don't buy that, and Islam does not agree with that. That she is the byproduct from the man's rib. And even if some stories have been mentioned in the books of Ahlul Sunnah, and some of these stories have come even in our books, but these riwayat and stories are not authentic. Like one of the riwayat which I see in Sahih Bukhari about woman is that a companion of Prophet, he came and he complained about his wife to the Prophet. Poor guy had very tough experience, so he said about all, and Prophet said, you know, they are created from rib, and rib is crooked. So the rib is crooked, and if you will straighten the rib, it will get broken, but it will not be straightened. So the advice of Prophet was that make the best use of that, whatever you can make, but never dare of straightening it, because it will never straighten up. Because it is created from rib. But we explained yesterday that that is a story which comes from the Judeo-Christian background that does not have any recognition in the Islamic literature. The other theory was that woman got created from the leftover clay. So that is why they are always left on the leftovers. पहले मर्द खा लें फिर औरतें खाएंगी. सवाल भेजी आवाज also wrong, because this leftover clay, if I was the one who was making it, I might have made a little bit more clay than what I needed, and now I have leftover. But Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says we have created everything with exact measures. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had just brought that much dust what he needed. So there was no leftover. So it means that he had in mind, he had this in plan to make both of them, Adam and Hawa, from the beginning. So she is not created from the leftover. They were created from the same material, and they were created for the same purpose. And then we said that we don't agree with the fact that woman is the source of evil. And she is the one that who led Adam into that situation where Adam went. We said that was a collective decision made by Adam and Hawa. There is no single ayat in Quran which says that this was Hawa who put Adam into that trouble. There are again some stories which are coming from Judeo-Christian background. Then we said that there is no sense of superiority for men or for women. Basically, they are the equal partners in their existence, where we had got some questions. We mentioned that Islam is gender blind as it is color blind. Islam is gender blind as it is color blind. And there is no special sense of preference for one gender over the other gender. Both of them are equal in being human beings. Now here question got arised that Quran says in Surah An-Nisa and in some other surahs like Surah Baqarah and some other surahs, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about a preference given to man on the woman. Fadilat, that man has been given authority on the woman and has been given a daraja, a preference, a rank over the woman. He was made excel on the woman. What about these ayat? We are putting men and women just all equal. Because this issue, as I said, is very misunderstood issue. Many people have tried to learn this from their cultural background. And our cultures have these misconceptions about the woman. I went in a thorough research on this subject, and I have even with my bag, I have about good 4, 5, 6 books which are mentioned, which are written intensively on this issue by the great scholars like Ayatollah Jawadi Amuli, who is the most knowledgeable man at this time in the whole Muslim world. This Ayatollah Jawadi Amuli was the man who carried the letter of Imam Khomeini to Gorbachev. When Imam Khomeini sent his letter to Gorbachev inviting him toward Islam, because there was a possibility of dialogue, there was a possibility of argument, there was a possibility of a debate. So Imam Khomeini sent the man who was the most knowledgeable man in the Islamic ideology and in Islamic philosophy and in Islamic theology and in Islamic law. This Ayatollah Jawadi Amuli writes a book which is now the masterpiece on the subject. In Persian it is called Zan Dar Aine Jalalo Jamal. Zan Dar Aine Jalalo Jamal. It is about 500 pages work. And so high that people of only at the PhD level and even more than that can really understand that book. And there are other books also. So these ulama have focused on these ayat what we were referring yesterday. They say that basically these are two different issues. Equality of men and women and having a seniority and authority of men on women. Both of them are right. But these are two different issues. When we say that men and women are equal, we say that they are equal in their being. In their being insan. Min haysul insan. Being insan, no gender has any seniority on the other gender. But when Quran says that men are given the authority on the woman, or men are given a daraja, a preference, a seniority on the woman, here Islam means husbands and wives, not men and women. There is a nukta-i latif. There is a thin difference. There is a thin difference here. At one time we are talking about men and women, two genders. Men and women, two genders. And then in husband and wife, we are talking about two particular parties in certain relations involved. You following me? No. If woman is not inferior than man in being, she is same human being as the man is. There is no superior and inferior. But when they are in relation of husband and wife, again they are not superior and inferior, but men are given authority. Men are given seniority. Men are given preference on the family because they are providing, they are protecting, they are the responsible of the well-being of the family and taking care of the family. So we should not mix the oranges with apples. We should not mix them together. When we say they are equal as insan. As insan, they are just equal. But when they get into this relation, husband and wife, otherwise, if we say ar-rijalu qawwamuna 'ala an-nisa, then it means that every man has authority on every woman. It would be then in that meaning, ar-rijal qawwamun 'ala an-nisa. Men are in authority on the woman. So it means I can go and claim authority on any woman and say because being man, I am in authority on you. She would not accept that and nobody would accept that. But when it is the issue of husband and wife, yes. When she accepts to be his wife, actually she accepts that authority. So she accepts that authority. No. The other scenario is if we say that the man is afdal than woman, then what the relationship of son and mother? Ayatollah Jawadi Amuli writes in his book, he says we take that in absolute meaning, we say no, men are afdal. Then woman, then what if the woman is mother and the man is the son? So still we would say that the woman is inferior and the man is superior, and this woman who is mother, she is less, and this son who is man, he is more? We can't. Then he poses the other scenario. He says, what if they are brother and sister? Then actually, they have no seniority on each other because both of them are equal. So when the father and daughter, this is one relation. The son and mother, they have the one relation. And then what if this woman, which we are saying that man is afdal, this woman is master. And the man is slave. There are issues. Even meaning the Prophet's wives, and our Aima's wives and many ladies, they had slaves. Now there is a slave who is man, and there is a woman which is the master. Now who is afdal here? This master is the afdal, because she is the master and the slave is mafdul. He is in the authority of this woman. And then he keeps giving the scenarios. He said, what in the case of Fir'aun and Asiya? Fir'aun and Asiya. Fir'aun is man and Asiya is a woman. Now we should say that because of being man, so Fir'aun is afdal and Asiya is mafdul. We can't, because Fir'aun is mushrik. Fir'aun is mushrik. He is najis. He is claiming that he is God, while Asiya is a mu'mina. She is a believer. So the issue is here that this is when we say men have seniority on the woman. Actually, Quran is talking about the husband and wife, not talking the men and women in general. And these are two totally separate issues. You see that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, if you want to see the adamat of the woman, Allah's Prophet, who had the honor of being the misdaq of ma yantiqu anil hawa in huwa illa wahyun yuha, when he has that ability and that authority, what he is saying, so then after that he says, al jannatu tahta aqdami ummahatikum. Al jannatu tahta aqdami ummahatikum. The jannat, the paradise, is under the feet of your mothers. As Prophet said that jannat is under the feet of your fathers. Is there any hadith? But there is a hadith, al-jannatu tahta aqdami ummahatikum. A man comes and he asks the question. Salawat. Again, ek martaba salawat. So, when man came and he asked the question, Biman abarru, Ya Rasulullah, मैं किसके साथ अच्छाई करूं, किसके साथ नेकी करूं? He said, Ummak, with your mother. He said, Summa biman, फिर किसके साथ? Then, with whom I should do good? Prophet says, Ummak, your mother. Then after that, he says, Summa biman, फिर उसके बाद किसके साथ नेकी करूं? Prophet said, with your mother. At fourth time when he asked, with whom should I do good? With your father. So here we see that actually it is not the gender issue. There are some other issues involved. Because when you are grown, normally the scenarios are that your mother is more in need of your emotional and economical and physical help than your father. Normally, that is what happens. These women, when they become old, as you know that they become totally dependent. Normally, women live longer than men. They are widows, their husband has already died. Or because of the other reasons, they go through a lot of stress, lot of other problems. So they are more in need of your help and your kindness. So it is not that the mother is superior than the father. The issue is not the superiority, that mother can come and say, oh, I am superior than father. No, she is in more need of help than the father. Fathers are still normally normally able to manage. And sometimes they have a hard time with their sons of pushing them out of the home or whatever, stubbornness, strong. But mothers are different. So this is when Prophet says, your mother, your mother, your mother. This is not because that the mother is superior. Mother is more in need of your help. She is dependent. She is weak, being a woman. She needs your help. And then again, if you ask me technical question, man asked with whom I should do good. He did not ask to whom I should obey. To whom I should obey. When it will come to obedience, then you have to obey the father. Because he is the wali. Your mother is not your wali. These are the technical issues of Islamic law. Your wali, your guardian, to whom you have to follow is your father, not your mother. So when it comes to show the kindness, you have to do to your mother. But when it comes to whom to follow, your father. Because of the reasons what I mentioned. So similarly, my brothers and sisters, there are reasons involved. There is a reasoning, there is a logic behind these things. It is not only the words of Quran or words of Hadith and just get stuck with only that one word. There are vast concepts behind these words which are mentioned in the detailed books of the commentary and in the Hadith and in the philosophy and in the ideology of Islam. So we need to understand the whole issue. Sometimes people would say, oh, Imam Ali has made those comments and they are in Nahjul Balagha, that women are naqisul aql. And it is in Nahjul Balagha, naqisul aql, naqisul huzuz and all that. But again the same Ayatullah Jawadi Amuli has given the answer of this one also in his book Zandar Aina Jalalu Jamal. I don't know if you are getting tired and time is also going out, but this is very important issue to learn. Imam says women are naqisul aql. Women have very hard time of listening that. But Ayatullah Jawadi Amuli says in his book Zandar Aine Jalalu Jamal, there are two kinds of recommendations or commands in Islam. One of them are thabit wala yataghayyar. One sort of the commands are eternal and permanent and forever. They are not going to change because they are permanent, like the 5 prayers. No matter how busy you become in modern life, you can't say that Arabs at that time don't have to do anything. So they had time to make the 5 prayers, but we guys are very busy in modern life, so we should have 2 prayers, not the 5 prayers. No. This hukm is thabit, la yataghayyar, it will remain as it is. But there are some rules and laws and commands which are mutaghayyir, which are subject to change when circumstances get changed. And he gives the example. He says, according to Quran, according to Hadith, according to Islamic law, if you read the history of Islamic law and the details of Islamic law, it was haram and forbidden to sell and buy the blood. It was haram to sell and buy the blood. Agreed upon opinion among all the fuqaha of Sunnah and Tashayyu in the history. But go and ask the same question today. From any mufti and any marja, can I sell a bottle of my blood? Can I sell? some amount of my blood, or can I buy the blood? They would say yes. How this no became yes? How this haram became halal? He says, because this rule is one of those rules which was subject to change. This was not one of the rules which was permanent. In past, blood had no lawful usage. At the time when it was considered haram to sell and buy the blood, there was no lawful usage of this blood. Only it could be eaten and drunk and put in the food. And it was haram. But now there is a lawful and logical use of this blood. You have the accidents, you have the surgeries, you have the operations, where you desperately need the blood. Here you take the blood, here you give the blood, and here you save the lives. Here you save the life. When you save the life, the rule got changed. And now it is permissible. It is written in the Tawzihul Masail of every marja. If you want to go or ask the fatwa, they say it is okay, it is halal, while it was haram. So by bringing this example, he say actually the comment of Imam Ali about the woman of that Naqisul Aql, he says actually was in the context of the society of his time, not this time. And then he has reasoning, what I am going to explain to you. Salawat. Then he goes, because we don't read these books. We don't have access on these treasures of knowledge. And that is why we say that please come forward and enroll yourselves in these classes of Hawza, in these seminars and programs that we are offering in this city. We came all the way only to help you brothers and sisters. And then if we have the classes and if nobody comes, then हम तो माइल व करम है, कोई साइल ही नहीं तो फिर क्या है सलावत भेजिए वाला. So our Ayatullah Jawadi Amuli, he says that Aql has two types. Again he quotes the opinion and the hadith of Ameer al-Mu'mineen. He says there is a Al-Aqlu Aqlan. He says Aql has two types. One is Matbu'un and other is Maksub. One Aql is which is given to every man and woman just automatically, naturally. Every child of humankind when gets birth, it has aql. That is one aql which is from within themselves. That is same in the man and woman. This is one aql. And everybody has this aql which you get. But then the other aql is actually the aql which you generate through your experience and exposure. And when Imam advises the youth to listen the elderly and saying that you think that you have aql, now you have become aqil and baligh and you can make your own decisions, you youth guys. So Imam says, yes, you have one aql which is generally given to every individual and human being, but there is another aql which you will get through experience. And that your father has more than you. Your mother has more than you. Your teachers and your uncles and elderly have more than you because they have more experience than you. So the aql which Imam is referring that women have less aql, he says actually because these women were deprived of the education at that time. These women were deprived of having any contact with the society outside. They would get married when they were 9 or 10 or 11 or 12, and they would always remain in the house. Their job was only clean and cook, and that was it, and raise the babies. And they don't had exposure of the society. They don't had access on the knowledge. They were not going in the classes. They were not going in the school. They were not involved in the practical other fields and areas of the life. Because they don't have that experience, because they don't have exposure, because they don't have facilities of learning, because they don't have facilities of studying, so that is why they had less aql. But in this age, when the facilities of learning are equally available to the boys and the girls, and they study shoulder by shoulder, shoulder to shoulder, and they have full and equal access on the school, on the college, on the university, on the libraries, on the computers, and even on the internet, and every source of knowledge. As if the man has access, the woman has also the access. If man is in the profession, woman is also in the profession. If man is professor, woman is professor. Man is doctor, woman is doctor. Man is manager, woman is also manager. So if they are having the full access on the knowledge, on the society, on the exposure, so no, that comment of Imam Ali does not apply to the women of this society. This is what Ayatollah Jawadi Amuli has mentioned in his masterpiece book, and this got never challenged by any marja, by any Ayatollah, by any scholar. He is one of the most leading figures in Hawza al-Miyah Qawm in Iran. So my brothers and sisters, he has mentioned all these scenarios, all these ayat that we have, and these ahadith talking about the issue, and brings the answers. So let me again clarify, when we are saying that they are equal as being insan. It is not that they are insan at the primary level and these are secondary level insan. But then after that, if they are husband and wife, yes, husband has authority, husband has seniority, husband has superiority and seniority on the woman because he is strong. Again, there are reasons. No woman might have questions. Later on we can discuss those. That why man has given that authority, why he has been given that seniority. There are again reasons, there is a logic involved, and there are many details available on that issue. But basically, it is just like as American, we are all same, or as Musliman, being Muslim, we are all equal. We cannot say I am Muslim darja awwal and you are Muslim darja do. We are all equal in being Muslim. But then we have certain classes and certain levels. The alim is senior than the jahil. The muttaqi is senior than the one that who is fasiq, that who is fajir. So all these classes, but being Muslim, being a human being, they are all same and equal. So the being insan, they are same and equal. But then being the husband and wife, the relations are going to be different. And women have really played a very crucial role, my brothers and sisters. If you read the history of Islam and history of the Shia struggles and history of all the movements, you think that our Prophet would be able to do what he did if he don't have that strong lady, Khadijatul Kubra, on his back? Prophet was always speaking very high of Hazrat Khadija Kubra, and one time one of the young wives, which was Aisha, she got kind of offended by that, and she says, you always talk about that old lady, while Allah has provided you and given you much better than her and much younger than her, and Prophet got upset. He said, who says that Allah has given me better than her? She believed in me when the whole society was rejecting me and condemning me. She supported me when I was empty-handed. When you ladies came, everything was here, everything was provided. You became the first ladies, but this poor woman suffered. And then he talked very high. This lady who was the most wealthy lady of the Makkah. In the history they say every year when she would receive her payments, the money, old days, you know, the business was on loans, on credit. So they would sell, and then in one time of the year they would receive, when she would receive money, this dirham or dinar, they say it much that the dirham or dinar, they would put down together this recovery, that if the other side, the camel was standing, you could not see that camel. That much dirham or dinar this Khadijatul Kubra had. And then when she died, there was no coffin available. There was not pennies left where she could be given coffin. That sacrifice, that money funded the movement of Islam. And that is why we pay homes to the children of Khadijatul Kubra. Sometimes people ask why? Because their mother has funded this movement of Islam. This Islam got funded by the money of Khadijatul Kubra. When Prophet was penniless, this lady comes and gives everything. Allah is, he says, Hal jazaa'ul ihsan illa al-ihsan. I tell people, be kind to those who are kind to you. And don't keep anybody's favor. Khadija has given us favor and funded all the money, invested all the money in my deen. Everybody who would say, La ilaha illallah, Muhammadur Rasulullah, must pay this 1/5 of their saving to the children of Khadijatul Kubra. Khadijatul Kubra, her sacrifices of Fatima Zahra Salamullah alayha, we just mentioned yesterday, and then again her daughters, Zainab wa Kulsum. Hadith-e-ishq, do babas to bas. This hadith-e-ishq, do babas to bas, ye chira, Hussain raqam kar. This is the partnership, one of the titles of Hazrat Zainab is Sharikatul Hussain. Sharikatul Hussain. She was a partner with Imam alayhi salatu wasalam in this mission of Karbala. And she saved actually the message and the movement of Imam alayhi salatu wasalam. You all know that if it was not Zainab wa Kulsum, and if these were not Fatima Kubra and Sakina Sughra, then this message and this sacrifice would just get buried with the dead bodies of these martyrs in the desert of Karbala. Nobody would even know what has happened in Karbala. But this was Zainab Salamullah. She came with Kulsum, she came with Fatima Kubra, she came with Sakina, and she spoke about this zulm. She spoke about this zulm in the courts of Ibn Ziyad, in the courts of Yazid in Sham. And it is not that it's only she spoke about that. She saved your Imam, the continuation of Imamat. You know when they had set the fire on the tents? Imam, your fourth Imam, was unable to move from his bed at that time. And he was so sick that even they came and they took that mat of the leather which was under your Imam. A man comes and he pulls that mat from the underneath underneath of your sick Imam and he just took it away and your Imam was just on the sand. Your Imam is just now on the sand and then there is a fire on the tents. And this Hamid ibn Muslim says that I saw these ladies, they kept moving from one tent to the other and from one tent to the other, and when finally the last tent was burned, everybody was out. And then I see that in the last tent when there was fire going on it, one lady would just go in the tent and come out from the tent, and then go in the tent and then come out the tent, and I thought that this lady must have something very valuable in that tent. She goes in to bring that valuable thing out, but because of the fire, she again comes back. But then when she comes back, she cannot forget about that valuable. Again she goes in, and she kept going in and out, and then he says, I saw that this lady was carrying a sick man on her back, and his feet were dragging on the sand of Karbala. And I asked, who is this lady? They said, this is Sharikatul Hussain, this is Zainab, and who is this sick guy? They said, this is the Imam of them, and this is Ali Zainul Abidin. Azizan Girami, this lady had saved Imam. This lady saved Imam. This lady saved the Nasl of Sadat. This lady saved this continuation of Imamat. How much we have to be thankful to that contribution made by this woman, Zainab Salamullah alayha. And then after that also, she saved children of Hussein. She said children of Hussein, message of Hussein. She was standing in the court of Yazid, and all these बीबियां सारी की सारी दरबारे यजीद में यजीद के सामने खड़ी, खुदा शरीफ जादियों को किसी शराबी के टकबार में न ले। ये शतरंज खेलता हुआ और शराब के नशे में चूर अली और बतूल की बेटियां सामने खड़ी हुई हैं, और आपके मौला फरमाते हैं कि हम जब इसके दरबार के करीब पहुंचे तो ये रस्सियां लेके आगे बढ़े और इन्होंने हमारे गलों और हाथों को रस्सियों से ऐसे बांधा जैसे कोई भेड़ों और बकरियों को बांधा। ये अल्फाज हैं आपके मौला इमाम ज़ैनुल आबिदीन के। एक ही रस्सी में बंधे हुए ये असीर यजीद के सामने खड़े हुए, और यजीद ने खिताब करके एक छोटी सी बच्ची से उसका नाम पूछा, मसमुख, तुम्हारा नाम क्या है? बच्ची के लबों में जुम्बिश आई मगर गले से आवाज न निकली। एक मर्तबा फिर कहा, बच्ची तेरे नाम क्या है? बच्ची ने सुना और फिर लगा जैसे लबों में हरकत होती है मगर आवाज नहीं निकलती। एक मर्तबा झड़क के कहता है, बच्ची मैं तेरा नाम पूछता हूँ। इसका झड़कना था, बच्ची डर जाती है। आपके मौला कहते हैं, जालिम, तेरे जालिमों ने, तेरे इन कैदियों ने, तेरे सिपाहियों ने हमें एक रस्सी से बांधा है। कुछ बीवियों के कद ऊंचे हैं और कुछ बीवियों के कद छोटे हैं, और ये बच्ची छोटी है, इसका कद छोटा है, इसका गला घुटा हुआ है। ये बच्ची बोलती है मगर तुझे इसकी आवाज सुनाई नहीं देती है। अगर इसका जवाब सुनना है तो बच्ची के गले की रस्सी को ढीला कर दे, बच्ची के गले की रस्सी को ढीला कर दे। रस्सी को ढीला किया गया। सवाल करके पूछा, तेरा नाम क्या है? कहा, मेरा नाम तो फातिमा है, लेकिन बाबा प्यार से मुझे सकीना कहते हैं। सकीना इत्मीनान को कहा जाता है, सुकून को कहा जाता है। मौला फरमाया करते थे, जिस घर में रुबाब और सकीना न हो वो मुझे घर अच्छा नहीं लगता है। बाबा हमें सीने पे सुलाया करते थे। बाबा के फिराक में हम गमखार हैं, हम सोगवार हैं। एक मर्तबा यही बातें हुई तो कहा कि मैं अपने बाबा का सर देखना चाहती हूँ, मुझे अपने बाबा का सर दे दे, मैं अपने बाबा के लिए उदास हूँ। एक मर्तबा इसने कहा कि बाबा का सर इस तश्ते तला में पड़ा है, अगर आवाज दो, अगर बाबा आते हैं तो तुम्हारे पास आ जाएं। अज़ादारों, मक्तल की किताबों में लिखा हुआ है। एक मर्तबा सकीना का ये सुनना था, छोटी सी गोद کو اٹھانا تھا. سر حسین کشت سے اٹھا, پرواز کر کے اس بچی کی گود میں آ گیا. بچی نے اپنے لبوں کو بابا کی کٹی ہوئی رگوں پہ رکھ دیا. کہا بابا ہم آپ کے لیے اداس ہیں, آپ کہاں. اللہ لعنت اللہ علی الظالمین وسيعلم الذين ظلموا أي منقلب ينقلبون. ایک مومن کا پاکستان میں انتقال ہو گیا ہے اور ہمیں ان کے نام یہاں منتخب کی گئی ہے. ان کا نام ہے حسن رضا ابن نذیر حسین. ان کی روح کے لیے اور جتنے بھی مومنین و مومنات کا انتقال ہوا سب کے سارے ثواب کی ایک بات.
Bye.